My God, are we good? From outside? All right, we're going to pick it up, man. When they come in. All right, we're going to pick it up with Deuteronomy, the 14th chapter, and the first verse. Deuteronomy 14, verse 1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14, verse 1.
Come on.
Ye are the children of the Most High, your
Right.
power. Ye shall not cut yourselves.
You should not do what?
Cut yourselves.
Don't cut yourself. It sounds like a crazy law, right? But how much of our people cut themselves? A lot of our people cut themselves for different reasons. Tribal marks. Some of them, they go to sororities and fraternities, and they get their branding on their skin, they burn up their skin, right? Some of them, they tattoos, right? You put a tattoo, is what? It's cutting your skin, putting ink under your skin, right? Using a machine. So he said, ye shall not cut yourselves. You're Hebrews. Everybody understand that? The other nations cut themselves, right? Amongst the African tribes, they put tribal marks on their children. They cut their faces, they cut part of their body, put tribal marks on them. Even amongst the Hindus, right? The East Indians, they're known to what? Have these markings on their skin. They cut themselves to leave a mark. All right? What? Read.
Nor make any baldness.
Make any what?
Baldness.
Come on.
Between your eyes for the dead.
All right, or make any baldness between your eyes for the dead, right? So what he had another custom of shaving their heads, right? They was the Buddhist monks would shave their heads and put these dots on their heads and things of that sort, right? This was part of their custom, right? That's not something that we're supposed to get ourselves involved in. Hold on, give me Leviticus 21, verse 5. Right? We're not to get involved in these things. We are Hebrews. He said, you are the children of Israel. We don't do what they do. We're the children of the Most High God. And they give me Leviticus 19:27.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 21, verse 5.
Come on.
They shall not make baldness upon their head.
Right.
Neither shall they shave off the corner of their beard, nor make any cuttings in their flesh.
Right. So you're not supposed to shave off your beards. Right. Or make cuttings in your flesh. Right. Most High is clear with this. Right. 3 witnesses. Let's get another witness. Leviticus 19:27.
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 27.
Come on.
Ye shall not round the corners of your heads.
So now it says don't round the corner of your head. Meaning that what? Your hairline got corners up. If you shave it off, you no longer have those corners. Right? Read on.
Neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard.
Right, cutting your beard off again. So we're not to cut our beard off. Now you can groom yourself, but don't cut your beard off. Everybody understand that? All right? You can groom yourself, make your beard, make it look a little neat, but don't bald your beard off your face. All right? And change and mar how the Most High sets your beard up. All right? You just make it a little neat, but you keep your beard. Everybody understand that? All right, that's the law of the Most High. Right? And then your hair. You know what I mean? You can neaten your hair, you can cut your hair. You can say you can't cut your hair, but it says don't make what? Baldness. All right, that's the key. What does it mean to be bald? No hair, right? No hair, skin, right? Now some people, they bald by nature. That's nature. Nothing you can do about it. We just talk about that. There's nothing you can do about that. You bald by nature, right? Scripture say your forehead bald, whatever the case may be. All right, your hair recedes to the point where you don't have any hair anymore. That's out of your control. But what you have control to do is not to make baldness, right? Like Michael Jordan, you could have a full head of hair. You decide to bald your hair off because you think it's cool. That's not according to the Most High. You understand that? All right. So we don't want to get too extreme. Some people say we're not Rastafari and say break the scissors and the comb, right? And you can't cut your hair. That's not what we say. You can cut your hair. You should groom your hair. But just don't make it bald. Right? Don't shave all your hair off. Got it? All right. Read.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14, verse 2. For thou art an holy people unto the Most High, thy power. And the Most High hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself, above.
No, the same.
Above.
Equal rights.
Above.
Read.
All the nations that are upon the earth.
Right. We was always set up to be above everyone else. Okay? That's not you being arrogant. That's you being obedient. Everybody understand that? Because if you don't place yourself above, what's going to happen is you're going to now give rhyme and reason to what the other nations do. Right? Instead of just understanding, well, you know what, they do what they do. We're above them. We don't do what they do. Right? But if you start thinking you're the same as they are, then you're going to try to understand why they do what they do. And that's how the wicked will end up seducing the righteous. Okay? Because you're trying to relate. You don't have to relate. All you have to do is obey. The most I say you're above, you're above. The things that they do are beneath you. Okay? Because the Most High put you there. Read.
Thou shalt not eat any abominable thing.
Right.
These are the beasts which ye shall eat.
Right. Thou shalt not eat any abominable thing. So anything that's considered an abomination, we're not to put in our mouths. Everybody understand that? Let's see. Read.
The ox.
The what?
The ox.
Uh-huh.
The sheep.
Right.
And the goat.
Come on.
The hart and the roebuck and the fallow deer.
Uh-huh.
And the wild goat and the pygarg.
Uh-huh.
And the wild ox and the chamois.
Mm-hmm.
And every beast that parteth the hoof and cleaveth the cleft into two claws, that ye shall eat.
Right, so you can eat oxtails. You can have some lamb chops. You can have some curry goat. Right? He lists some things here. Right? That's good to eat, huh? So he didn't leave us without good food. Why would we can eat these? We want to go eat swine's flesh. Why do we want to do that? You want to tell me that swine's flesh is better than ox goat? Right? Oxtails, what is that, like $9 a pound? Yeah, about that. Well, you can jump that, you can get it for $6 a pound. Right? You know what I mean? But if you go to, if no sale. Right? Anyway. Just to say, how much is a pig a pound? What, 68 cents? What, 75 cents? Or 75 cents, right? It's letting you know what quality is this to that. But our people still want to buy it, right? 68 cents a pound compared to $7 a pound. What do you put in your body? You put in garbage in your body, right? Even the supermarket is telling you it's garbage. But we're like, man, that's on sale. That's cheap. A lot of times, you got to be careful going for the cheaper thing. Because you don't know what you're really putting in your body. There's a reason why it's so cheap. If I can give you a whole hamburger, bread, lettuce, tomato, everything for $1, what am I really giving you? Is there really meat in this thing? Is this really bread? You gotta kind of start questioning things like, what are you? Why does this cost you only $1? That means you made your profit, right? That means it had to cost the store about 25 cents to make this thing that they're giving me for $1. And this is a whole,
not less than that.
It can't be right.
Yeah.
It can't, just simple math, wisdom will tell you this can't be right. Something gotta be wrong with this.
That's why
Put it back down.
That's why you see McDonald's brought it up last year.
Uh-huh.
That now the quarter pounder is 100% beef.
Right. After about what, 100 years?
100 years, made all that money. Now it's 100%.
Now we're gonna hook you up. It actually puts some cow on the stand.
What was it before?
What was it before?
Kangaroo?
Human beings.
What was it?
The God bless.
Right?
That's what your child was saying.
So we have to think about these things. I mean, I know, I'm not gonna sit here and be an advocate for Whole Foods or any of these places, but I'm gonna tell you this, just use wisdom. Stop, you're not getting the cheapest thing is not always being economic. Sometimes you set yourself up. Now you're gonna have to buy medicine. Medicine more expensive, right? But you ate right in the first place. This way you won't need medicine. If I understand that? Preventative measures are better than, remedies and healing. Right? The scriptures say obedience is better than, right? Better you do right in the beginning than have to make up for the wickedness that you have done. Right? And that goes for your actions. Everything in your life is going to go for. Right? Better you do it right the first time. You have to repair the breach, repair the problem. All right? So keep that in mind. All right? So all things that are abomination. He said we can eat the ox, the sheep, the goat, the hart, and the roebuck. Hart and roebuck, that's out of the deer family, right? Something that we don't maybe have not have experience with, but I understand it's good meat. I haven't experienced it myself. Right, but I would experience it if the opportunity presents itself, right? Or the wild goat. I don't know what difference of goats, right? But the wild goat or the I don't know what can you look that up, Malachi? The PYRAGRARG. Put it up on the screen right now. Huh? I think it's a what? A bird?
No, it's like
We're gonna look that up so we know what's one of the most I said we can eat. I don't think none of these are birds because all those that chew up the cud. Verse 6 allows us to believe that this is all cattle. It's PYGARG. Right? All these should be cattle, some sort of cattle, 4-foot beast, because of verse 6. It says he's all that chew the cud.
like a big lotion.
Let's minimize the screen and put the whole screen. All right.
That's what you get the ranch one.
All right, so
Found it?
yeah, it's a long goat, like a goat with long horns.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Mountain goat, basically.
a mountain goat.
That's where you get the horn from. Right?
Yeah, that's where you get the long ram's horns from. All right. So like, some people say the long ram's horn is off. Evidently, it's not, right? Because that's of the goat family, right? So, and the wild ox.
The wild goat? The wild goat.
Huh?
They said wild.
No, that's the the pygarg.
Right?
The pygarg. PYGARG. The
Like a
pygarg.
Not the wild goat.
Huh?
It's like a mountain goat.
It's like a mountain goat, but they also said wild ox. It's also had wild goat as a different.
Okay.
Right. The wild goat is there as well, but it might be something very similar. Was he saying some of them horns are different than other ones?
The pygarg is in an antelope family.
Antelope family.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, so that's he's ready for the curry. All right. So now give me a Camos. CHAMOIS.
That scripture is mountain sheep.
What's that?
I said, small cat is mountain sheep.
Mountain sheep.
Mountain sheep.
Mountain sheep.
Like a
Yeah.
wild sheep.
Yeah,
Wild
that's what
sheep.
it is.
There's some
It's
sheep that's run wild in the mountains.
Well, it's a goat antelope native to the mountains in Europe.
This looks like a wild sheep.
It looks like a sheep too.
Yeah, this one more look like a sheep. All right, so this is another joke that can get it. All right. All right. The Camos. All right. Last time I saw you all right there. That's not it. So go back up. That's that joke right there.
This one?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. There's a baby over there. But he got two little horns on his head. Alright. I guess the males carry the horns usually with these type of animals, and the females are the one without the horn. Alright. Huh?
Looks lean.
Like lean meat, huh?
Yeah.
Alright. Come on. Alright, so these are what we can eat, and Most High said we're good with eating this. Alright, let's read on.
The book of Deuteronomy,
Verse 7.
chapter 14, verse 7. Nevertheless, cloven hoof as the camel,
Right?
and the hare,
Mm-hmm.
and the coney.
Right, what's a coney? What is a coney? C-O-N-E-Y. I believe it's of a rabbit family. So no rabbit stew. Right? You know, no anything of its kind. Remember, it says everything after its kind. Right? Everything after its kind. So the hare, that ain't no rabbit. It looks more like a rat.
Don't say
that, Albert. Don't say
Well, that's what it looked like.
They said that one belly got the arrow on it.
Right? Wherever he come from, don't eat him. Do not eat him. Do not eat no mariku, right?
Oh.
No possum, right? No possum stew. Anybody after his kind, okay? Can't have them. The mouse, right? The scriptures talk about them that eat the mouse, right? And call themselves righteous. All right, we're not to eat those things. All right, ferrets and stuff like that is off the menu.
Oh, they put a scripture when they trying to get off the ferrets. Chicken doctrine. A mouse. Chicken eat the mouse.
Right, so because it divides, it chewed the cud, right? But these had paws, so it divided not the hoof. Right? Anything with paws you're not supposed to eat. Everybody understand that? Anything with paws. That's one of the rules. That's more in Leviticus 11 chapter. Anything with paws you're not to eat. So no dogs, no cats, nothing of that sort. That's something that other nations eat. This is why Moses say you are better than them. All right, read on.
Therefore, they are unclean unto you.
Read.
And the swine.
And a what?
Swine.
Come on.
Because it divided the hoof,
Right.
yet cheweth not the cud.
Right.
It is unclean unto you.
Right. It's unclean unto you. Come on.
Ye shall not eat of their flesh,
Right.
nor touch their dead carcass.
Right. All touch their carcass. So we know what a swine is. That we have full of it. It's everything after its kind. So you got a wild boar. People like to go hunting wild boar and things like that. That's swine. Okay. On any of the boar family, of the hog family, all that is swine. Pig, boar, hog. What else they got names for? They got other names for them. Sow. All that is of the same family is not to eat. All right. Read.
These ye shall eat of all that are in the waters, all that have fins and scales shall ye eat.
Right. The Most High made it simple. When it comes to the fish in the sea, fins and scales. Sometimes some fish is hard to see the scale. So you need somebody to have experience. Right? The fish, Most High made literally millions of different type of fish. So it's hard to determine certain fish. But just keep it simple for your own self, fins and scales. Right? If it's missing that, don't try. You know what I mean?
Out, throw it out.
Yeah, and then when you get more clarity, if it happens to have some little fins on the head or something like that, or scales on it that allow it to makes it clean. There's a lot of lists out there for halal and kosher fish that are pretty on point. I went over a couple of those lists. I didn't see any discrepancies. So fish that are halal or kosher should have the right fish. So if you're wondering what kind of fish or certain fish you can eat, matter of fact, put halal and kosher fish. HALAL. Everybody knows their version of kosher. All right. Oh yeah, see that says Wikipedia. Right there. Yeah. Go down. Scroll down.
Why don't you just provide this?
Scroll down. Scroll down. All right. So this is a list of permitted fish, right? So it's kind of give you a list of fish that we might come across, in our daily shopping, like avocado. Everybody know what avocado is, right? You see that as a type of tuna fish, right?
Angel fish.
Oh what?
It says angel fish.
What kind of fish?
It says angel fish.
Angel fish?
No, okay, we was talking
Oh no. We pay attention to the fish that you see in the supermarket. Yes, there's all kind of fish there, right? But we don't see angel fish in the supermarket.
No.
Right? But you see avocado. So you can see that's an edible fish, according to, pins and scales. Halibut is a popular fish. Sardines, salmon, popular fish. Right? Mackerel.
Yeah, man.
Which mackerel?
Jack.
Jack mackerel.
Jack horse.
And horse mackerel. I think there's another type of mackerel that would not make this list. So make sure it's jack or horse, right?
The sheep head.
What's that?
The sheep head is not clean.
A what?
The sheep head mackerel is not clean.
Oh, the sheep head mackerel?
Yeah.
Oh, I can say it loud so I can hear. What kind of mackerel is not clean?
Sheep head.
Sheep head?
Yeah.
All right, so he knows about a sheep head mackerel not being clean, right?
What's Bombay duck? Bombay duck.
Well, he's a fish, so it's not a duck. It's a type of fish.
There you go.
Fins and scales. He might be ugly as hell, but he got fins and scales. And he like to put a bite on you too. But according
Yeah,
to
you
it,
might want to kill it first.
herring, you might see smoked herring, right? Herring is up there.
Yeah.
You can eat herring, right? It just gives you some information about it. So just kind of giving you a way of going to shop, determining what a good fish is. But you might notice that in the S fish, you don't see any swahi. What? Esau tries to pass off swahi as it is a white fish. It's not a white fish. It is not a kosher fish. They sell it in the Walmarts right next to what? The tilapia and the whiting, but it's not in the same family.
What is it called?
Swahi. SWAI. That is not clean fish. All right, just keep that in mind. Because you see it in the section with the other clean fish. They don't put it on the shelves.
You gotta be careful too when you go to some of these restaurants. Make sure you ask, because they trying to pass that off as snapper.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, you gotta ask. When they say they got fish, fried fish, you gotta ask them what kind of fish is that. Sometimes they tell you they don't know. I said, if you don't know, I ain't messing with it, right? Because I had that experience. I don't know what kind of fish. I want to shoot. And you keep it then. You gonna give me a fish you don't even know what it is, right? It should be cod, but if it's not cod, then you gotta really question what kind of fish that is. You know what I mean? Certain fish you can smell, you gotta just know what it is. I can tell cod, but certain fish is hard to tell, right? Go down some.
Oh, so they got that model.
Cod? Yeah, it's gotta be.
You gotta scroll down.
Scroll down.
Yes.
Oh, so that's the Mahi.
Yeah,
Yeah, we.
Where's cod? Yeah, cod is there, see it? Yeah. Would you ask against Mahi?
Yeah, Mahi's up there.
That should be it.
It's right.
Yeah, it's at the top.
Scroll up.
No, Mahi.
They call it dolphin.
Mahi.
They call Mahi dolphin, but it's not a dolphin. Not a dolphin like,
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
not that kind of dolphin.
Mahi or a common dolphin fish.
Right. It's called a dolphin,
It's not a dog.
but it's not a dolphin. Right? A dolphin is a completely different, it's actually a mammal, right? That lives in the water. So it's not even a fish. You know what I mean? So this is a clean fish, even though they call it dolphin.
That's what it look like.
Don't get tripped out if you see dolphin on the menu. You're not allowed to eat dolphins. All right? So, it's considered a protected fish. Is tilapia on there?
No.
You got
BTA.
Yeah, tilapia.
All right. Now, this is a funny thing with tilapia. Now you have tilapia that's wild caught, real tilapia. Then you got farm tilapia, right? But then you got a third tilapia, which is a genetically created tilapia. Farm tilapia is not necessarily tilapias in a condition. I went up to a tilapia farm actually in Central Florida. Some others actually own it, right? And they do farm tilapia the right way, right? The natural way. But then there's some places that they create them out of test tubes, right? They started to do that with salmon too, though, right? And you see they brought that out. They're making the salmon in test tubes, and
they tell you to ask where the salmon came from.
Right. So I would say when looking at trying to get wild caught fish, right? Try to stay away from farm fish whenever possible, right? Because you don't know what they're doing in that particular farm. I'm not saying all farms are bad, but a lot of them are. So when you wonder, if you ever cooked farm salmon compared to wild salmon, you can see the difference in the pot, right? You can taste and see it because all that white comes out of that farm. You know what I mean? All that fats raised up out of that farm fish that doesn't raise up out of the wild caught, the quality caught fish, right? It tastes different, right? So just keep that in mind. They're trying to get wild caught fish, especially when you mess with tilapia, because I'll tell you, that anytime you see Walmart bagging something up and giving it to you for a hell of a good price, just be wonder about that, right? Because that's that genetically altered fish that they sell in Walmart, like big bags, 20-pound bag of it, and it's like $10. You can't get fish for that price, right? So you gotta use your wisdom. You say, why is this fish so cheap? Something's up here, right? But if you go to the fish market, let's say you go to like brown meat fish or something, and you buy tilapia, that's coming from the ocean. All right, so just keep that in mind. All right, this is all preventative. It keeps you, use wisdom to keep yourself healthy, so you don't have to be dealing with Esau's crazy medicines. Right? Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 10. And whatsoever hath not fins and scales, right, ye may not eat. It is unclean unto you.
Right. So what don't have fins and scales? Lobster, crab, shark, catfish. We got here in Florida, conch, right? No conch fritters, right? All these things are an abomination, right? They make parties and festivals around these things. Usually when they make a party and a festival around a food, it's probably off. Right? Because they don't party and festival for righteous food. So conch festival, or they do the wings, not wings,
seafood board,
seafood festivals and stuff like that. And for the pork, they use the ribs. That's what they do. They have a rib contest. And these things you got to be mindful of. Stay away. All right, read.
Of all clean birds,
right,
ye shall eat.
Right.
But these are they of which ye shall not eat.
Of all clean birds you may eat. Right?
And the ostrich.
The ostrich. Give me an ostrich. Frage.
You have to read the fish.
Come on, fish. Reason why I would just bring up the fish, the bird, you can obviously look at this bird, right?
And the gled, and the kite, and the vulture.
The vulture, after a bird look like that, leave it alone. Probably a vulture.
Yeah, it's the same family. Is that?
Like a hawk. It's very, it doesn't look like that other one. The other one had long legs. This one looks totally different. Right?
Owl.
It looks like a mix between a hawk and an owl or something. Kind of like an owl with a smaller head to it. Alright, so we know that fish, that bird cannot be eaten. Read on. And that's from the vulture family. So we know kind of what is characteristic birds. We see them all.
And the owl.
As you can see, when they put these birds together, they're all of the same family. All right, so we saw the kite. Yeah.
Can you have your Bible?
Yeah.
No, not Coco.
No.
Which one?
On the left hand, on the right hand side, that is the picture of the bird, all the way to the right.
That's left.
Right.
I don't know. All right, roll down, scroll down. Not to be eaten. All right, and the birds that they put, type it in the way it's spelled here. I want to see what you get. Cuckow.
That's what I got when I typed it.
Cuckow. Right. Images. So just clearly you can't that. Right? But I'm gonna tell you something. Does that bird look threatening to anybody? Right? Can't. But there's some thought that if a bird is threatening, you can't eat it, right?
Oh, no.
But this bird is not the least bit threatening, and you cannot eat it because he is unclean unto you. All right? Like it seems like he's family with the blue jay, all right? Which is also a bird that you cannot eat. All right? Read.
And the hawk after his kind.
Uh-huh.
The little owl, and the great owl, and the swan.
And the what?
The swan.
Give me a swan. Because this is something you see in the supermarket. Right? But they don't call it a swan, they call it a duck. Because there's no difference, right? Between a swan and a duck. Right? Maybe the neck is a little bit longer, so we don't eat duck because it's of the swan family. Everybody understand that? So no, you cannot have the Mushu duck. Right? You should be from Mushu anyway. Right? So these are the duck family. But for animals or birds, it's not on the list. B. Right? What else?
And the pelican.
Mm-hmm.
And the gear eagle.
Which is a similar fish to this one, or similar bird. So I call them fish because of the water. Similar bird to this one, and lives halfway in the water, halfway in the sky. Right? The cormorant does that. The pelican does that. The swan does that. That's not an animal that we ought to eat. That's not a bird that we ought to eat. Read.
And the stork.
Right.
And the heron after her kind, and the lapwing, and the bat.
And a what?
And the bat.
And a bat. You can't eat a bat. Right? It's not a South American country. They don't eat that bat. Right? We're not going to eat that bat. A bat is like a mouse with wings. P-W-I-N-G. Or those birds that you keep in a cage or something. Right? Was it quiet? In the water, halfway up in the sky. You see it. Give me a bat. So you just get a full understanding of the birds we cannot eat. You know, these last days have been confusion in this topic. All right, now, anybody feel like eating this? Does that look delectable?
Little jerseys on.
You want to jerk that? It is a mouse with wings.
He got a big nose.
It's a rat with wings.
They shouldn't be touching that thing.
There's many different species, as you can see.
Yeah.
They have a lot of different grills. Right? But they're all bats.
That one hanging upside down.
Like a bunny. It's like a dog.
Like a dog, right?
Yeah.
With wings. Verse 19.
That flieth is unclean unto you, they shall not be eaten.
Right. Should not be eating creeping things that fly. All right. Read on.
But of all clean
But of
fowls,
all what?
clean fowls,
But of all clean fowls, read on.
ye may eat.
Ye may eat. So now, if anybody, correct me if I'm wrong, see anything that looks like a chicken? You see any chicken up there? That we pulled up. right? Let's put on chicken now. Because there's some confusion in it right now with chicken. I want to, in Israel, right, after this kind, right? All right. Let's pull up a chicken alive, not freshly, not golden brown. Any of them look like this joker right here. I just wanted to bring that up because maybe he can get aggressive. I'm not saying he doesn't, because they do chick fight, right? Cockfight. What I'm bringing out is I got a fur coat in there. So not anybody characteristic of the bird. It was the family of the bird. Any bird can get aggressive. Anybody understand that? And will defend itself to the fullest. And the reason why these are used for fighting is they're chicken, right? So that's why people use them for fighting. They'll cut each other up. This list here. Just want to bring that out so you understand why we went through all the pictures of the phones of the birds we cannot eat. None of them look like this. If you have an issue with that or the turkey.
The turkey.
Right? Very aggressive. Right? They can get that way. They will defend themselves.
My question.
Looks like that.
Peacocks. I don't know if they eat them. I don't know if they eat them or not.
Is that in the swan family?
Yeah.
There was something I said to Shanshu on a little while ago, showing how quail scientifically is the same family as turkey, and fowls, the pheasants, and chickens. I see peacock as one of the relatives to quail. So I was about to ask.
Oh, okay. Maybe it is that. That's why I couldn't answer right away because I think it might be.
The same family with quails and pheasants. When you learning what meant.
Huh? I gotta make money, man. You gotta make that money, bro.
You won't be needing your transaction.
Yeah, they had that those big arrangement of big colors. The females don't have the colors, so that's the difference between that species of bird. The males, show their, they lure the females with their spray, and then the females are more plain looking. Right? So that's how peacock birds. You know what I mean? Peacock. Right. I didn't mention quails here, but we could. Very similar looking bird to the peacock and the chicken, right? In that family, all right? In that family of the dove, bird, peacock, like you said, pheasants, all in that family. Right? So we know that, by examination. By examining the birds that the Moses said we cannot eat, we can make a determination of what we can eat. And we went through all the birds that we cannot eat, and nothing looked like a chicken any way, shape, or form. All right, so we can clearly conclude that there's no confusion of whether cause you to sin, but it's just not substantiated. All right, sister.
Turkey vulture versus like the domestic.
Can't eat any vulture.
Turkey vulture.
Anything with a vulture in the name is out. All right.
Vulture, you chew.
Turkey.
It's a turkey vulture.
Vulture is a vulture.
It's a vulture. Can't eat a turkey vulture. It's more of a vulture than a turkey. All right, it's more of a vulture than a turkey. That guy's not playing around. All right? Yeah. Exactly. All right, so let's go. You ready to give us a breakdown, right?
We never did that with the giraffe.
They carry the giraffe?
They chew the cut.
Papa, what about a giraffe?
Right?
I don't know.
Part of the hook.
We have no giraffe in the supermarket. If you look up a giraffe, one of us the opportunity to eat a giraffe.
Look at that neck bone. Making a lot of comments.
Let's see his hoof. I see the hoof. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, you cut the hoof, but I don't see the claw above the leg. I don't see it. I don't see it.
I don't see it.
I don't see it. I think he might have lived. He's not close for it. He might chew the cud. He might be by the hoof.
The camel.
It's all. You want to live. Let's go back now to
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4.
All right, so we can't eat of anything that dropped dead unless we killed it. If it dropped dead and we didn't kill it, then you give it to the other nations. You don't want it to waste. All right, read on.
That is in thy gates.
And that's the ones that sojourn with us. We're the sojourners in this country with Esau. That's why he give us the crappy supermarket and his supermarket, right? But it's gonna be a flip side when the tables turn. Read on.
That he may eat it.
Mm-hmm.
An alien.
Uh-huh.
For thou art an holy people.
Right, you get to an alien means somebody that's got something special for you. I got a deal for you. Right? Let me get it from the back. Right?
Unto the Most High thy power.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not seethe a kid in his mother's milk.
No veal calf is still in its mother's milk. No veal. All right? Doesn't mean you can't have a cheeseburger. That's what Esau said. He earned out knowing the scriptures. Say without no meat and cheese. Right? But nevertheless, mother's milk. And plus, it's a waste. That's what the Most High is showing us. This calf is going to grow and be able to feed a lot more. When it comes out of age of being so small, right? And it has a particular concept of why the Most High is saying this as well. Right? It's greedy to do so. Right? Read.
Verse 22. Thou shalt surely tithe all the increase of thy seed,
right?
That the field bringeth forth year by year.
Uh-huh.
And thou shalt eat before the Most High thy power in the place which he, the tithe of thy corn, and the tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the firstlings of thy herds.
So when you get your first harvest, your first riches go to the Most High. Read.
And if the way be too long for thee, which the Most High thy power shall choose money,
bring down to Jerusalem and sell it to one of the tribes in your area before you set off on your journey. Okay. Right. So you're living up there, not Tally, Asher, there. Jerusalem over down here in Benjamin. That's a long trek, right? I'm talking about North there, right? Not Tally, Asher to Ephraim, Manasseh to Benjamin. You might sell it and come down with the money, you know?
And bind up the money in thine hand,
right?
And shall go unto the place of that money.
Uh-huh.
For whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, oxen, or
what? You have the feast in Jerusalem, right? Remember, you're eating as well. This is the Pentecost, and so we should enjoy it. You know,
thou shalt not forsake him, for he hath no part nor inheritance with thee.
Come on.
And at the end of 3 years, thou shalt bring forth all the tithe of thine increase the same year, and shall lay it up within thy gates. And the Levite, because he hath no part nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow, which are within thy gates, shall come, and shall eat, and be satisfied, that the Most High thy power may bless thee.
The laws that took care of those, they sure if you Most High bless you to have, the best thing you could do is take care of those that don't have. Everybody understand that? All right. So he made sure we gave it to the widows that didn't have a husband, or the fatherless, a child without parents. You know what I mean? Or if you had a Levite that was local and dealt with these things and didn't have a land to farm for themselves, they would dwell amongst us, and they would get blessed. By my friend, everybody was blessed to Levi.
That's right.
Right? So that's how we dealt with things. That there wasn't given the situation or opportunity to have abundance of the land. Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 1. the manner of the release. Every creditor that lendeth aught unto his neighbor shall release it. He shall not exact it of his neighbor or of his brother.
All debts are forgiven. All right. So if you was working off a debt for somebody and the 7th year came, they can let you go. All right. You're no longer owing that debt.
With thy brother, thine hand shall release.
Right. It's only if you're a Hebrew. This is for dealing with Hebrews. This is a Hebrew to Hebrew law. When you got a foreigner, you got.
I was going to say that possession or anything on your credit, it stays in your report for 7 years.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. He's aware of this law. This law is so crooked. I mean, he can't keep his laws properly. Right. You don't have a representation. Then what about our student loans? Does that count for student loans? Nope.
I take them home.
Right. Nope. Right? So they say, nope, that don't stand for us. Right, we go by our own law, payment. Right?
Chapter 15. Say, when there shall be no poor among you, for the Most High shall greatly bless thee in the land which the Most High thy power giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it. Hearken unto the voice of the Most High thy power, to observe, to do all these commandments, which I command thee this day. And thou shalt lend unto many nations, but shall not reign over thee.
Right. Come on.
If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren, within any of thy gates in thy land, which the Most High thy power giveth thee, thine hand from thy poor brother. But thou shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need,
right,
in that which he wanted.
Come on.
Beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart, lest be evil against thy poor brother, and thou givest him naught, and he cry unto the Most High against thee, and it be sin unto thee.
Right. So what? Let you not think in your heart that the year of release is coming up. I don't want to let him know. I'm not going to get my money back, right? Because the year of release is coming up. So he's going to take my man, right? So when you freely give, it's to freely give. Even when you lend, it's right. You lend somebody something, there's a chance you might not get it back. So don't lend something that you can't die a key if you don't get it back. Put your hand to your neighbor, to your fellow brother, your sister was the most back. So we don't want to skip on our brothers and sisters. Everybody understand that?
Heart shall not be grieved. Power shall bless thee in all thy works.
Exactly. The Most High will bless you. So if you don't get it back from the person, the Most High will take care of you. Read.
And in all that thou put shall never cease out of the land. Therefore I command thee, saying, thou shalt open thine hand wide unto thy brother, to thy poor and to thy needy in thy land.
Right. So there's always going to be a poor amongst us. So that's an opportunity there, the poor, to show your charity. If there was no poor, then what would be the purpose of it? So you always have an opportunity to give those that are in need. All right? If you're in need, that's what you say, don't be poor and proud. Others know. You understand that? And that give them the opportunity to get this blessing. That's good too. Right? But you have to don't keep it silent. Everybody understand that? But you're taking away an opportunity for the brother. You know?
Verse 12. And if thy brother and Hebrew man or an Hebrew woman be sold unto thee and serve thee 6 years.
Right.
And when thou sendest him out freely out of thy flock, of that wherewith the Most High thy power hath blessed thee, thou shalt give unto him.
Right. So when a Hebrew worked for a Hebrew for 6 years on that 7-year release, that Hebrew that was the owner of the boss is supposed to lace that guy when he's leaving, man. Give him extra stuff, liberally. Give him all that he needs to go establish himself. Right? That's the way you're supposed to deal with one another. Everybody understand that? In Hebrew, you deal differently with a Hebrew than you deal with somebody out in the world. Everybody understand that? Right? You don't deal with your brother like you're dealing with, Joe at the job. You know what I mean? He's not Joe at the job. All right? We got to deal with him differently. Right? The Most High is watching the way you deal with your brother or your sister. Okay? Read.
And thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in the land of Egypt.
Right.
And the Most High thy power redeemed thee. Therefore I command thee this thing, today. And it shall be, if he say unto thee, I will not go away from thee, because he loveth thee and thine house, because he is well with thee, then thou shalt take an awl and thrust it through his ear.
What's that? Like an earring, and put it through his earlobe. It's kind of piercing his ear. Read on.
Unto the door.
Uh-huh.
And he shall be thy servant forever.
Right. He's saying, I'm going to stay with you forever. We're going to be family now. Listen, you pierce his ear with a certain type of earring, it's called an awl, and it's be known that he has become a lifelong servant to somebody else. He's made that choice. Okay, read on.
And also unto thy maidservant thou shalt do likewise.
Right, even a woman, if she wants to stay, and she wants to stay for the duration to be a part of your household and be a servant to your household, she gets a piercing too. Read.
And it shall not seem hard unto thee when thou sendest him away free from thee, for he hath been worth a double hired servant to thee in serving thee 6 years. And the Most High thy power shall bless thee in all that thou doest. All the firstlings, males that come of thy herd and of thy flock, thou shalt sanctify unto the Most High thy power. Thou shalt do no work with the firstling of thy bullock, nor shear the firstling of thy sheep. Thou shalt eat it before the Most High thy power, year by year, in the place which the Most High shall choose, thou and thy household. And if there be any blemish therein, as if it be lame or blind, or have any ill blemish, thou shalt not sacrifice it unto the Most High thy power.
So you can't shave the Passover lamb and say, I'm going to take this wool, sell the wool, and then use the lamb for the Passover lamb. No. You're not supposed to blemish it any which way, you're not supposed to do anything to it.
How do you determine the first thing? What determines that? Like, I always wonder, like, your first of your cattle, like, when does it start and stop?
This is well, there's different determinations. First determination we have when we came into the land. The first of our cattle when we came into the land, right? But then year by year, we should do the first thing of the flock of the year, right? Certain things, certain flocks at a certain point of the year, they would bring forth like the spring. It's like when you're starting to have like they're starting to bring forth their babies, whatever the case may be. The first of the springtime, because the spring marks the beginning of the year. All right, so it's either by the spring or by us entering the land for the first, right? Let's read.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 15, verse 22. Thou shalt eat it within thy gates. The unclean and the clean person shall eat it alike, as the roebuck and as the hart.
Right.
Only thou shalt not eat the blood thereof. Thou shalt pour it upon the ground as water.
Right, so we went over that before. This was mentioned before, right? That what does it mean to clean and unclean? It's talking about your condition, right? If you're clean or you're unclean, you can still eat it. All right, like the deer and the robot. All right, read on.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16, verse 1. Observe the month of Abib.
Do what?
Observe the month of Abib.
Right, so what does it mean observe the month of Abib? You're supposed to always be recognizing that what? What are you observing the month of Abib for? Because it's what? It's the first of the year. It's the first of, yes, Passover comes up during the month of Abib, but the first of the month of Abib is the beginning of the year. Right, unto you, this shall be the beginning of year. Okay? It will be the first year of the month unto you. Hold that. Let's get proof on things. Deuteronomy 12 and 1? 12 and 1. Deuteronomy 12 and 1. Read that real quick.
Exodus 12.
Exodus 12 and 1. Sorry. Exodus 12 and 1.
The book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 1. And the Most High spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you.
Right? Read.
Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying,
Right.
in the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb.
All right. Let's let you know that what they were preparing for the Passover. So the first month of the year is when the Passover comes, but it comes the 15th day, right? The 14th day and even the 15th day. All right, so observe the month of Abib. Abib is the first month of the year. That's when it's Happy New Year, right? In the springtime, not in January, right? Not in December, but in late March, early April.
It'll be March 23rd.
23rd? March 23rd. All right?
It comes in on the 24th, but we're going to keep it going.
All right.
What's that?
The new moon Abib. First moon of the year. All right. Read.
The book of Deuteronomy 16, verse 1. Observe the month of Abib, and keep the Passover unto the Most High thy power.
Right.
For in the month of Abib, the Most High thy power brought thee forth out of Egypt by night.
Right.
Thou shalt therefore sacrifice the Passover unto the Most High thy power of the flock and the herd in the place which the Most High shall choose to place his name there. Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of affliction. For thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt in haste, that thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt all the days of thy life.
Right.
And there shall be no leavened bread seen with thee in all thy coasts 7 days, neither shall there anything of the flesh which thou sacrifice the first day at even remain all night until the morning.
You know.
Thou mayest not sacrifice the Passover within any of thy gates, which the Most High thy power giveth thee. But at the place which the Most High thy power shall choose to place his name in.
Right. So what he's telling us, in that Passover, we're supposed to come down to Jerusalem. During the Passover, come down to Jerusalem, not to celebrate it in your own gate. Right? When he set up and we go into the land, he said, when I put my name on that place, which we know later on, he didn't do it yet, when we're reading this, later on it's going to be Jerusalem in the land of Benjamin, and come down, the males come down and have the Passover. Read on.
There thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at even, at the going down of the sun, at the season that thou camest forth out of Egypt. And thou shalt roast and eat it in the place which the Most High thy power shall choose. And thou shalt turn in the morning and go unto thy tents. 6 days thou shalt eat the unleavened bread.
Right.
And on the 7th day shall be a solemn assembly to the Most High thy power. Thou shalt do no work therein. 7 weeks shalt thou number unto thee. Begin to number the 7 weeks from such time as thou beginnest to put the sickle to the corn.
Right.
And thou shalt keep the feast of weeks unto the Most High thy power, with a tribute of a freewill offering of thine hand, which thou shalt give unto the Most High thy power, according as the Most High thy power hath blessed thee.
Right. So 7 weeks after the Passover, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, right? We start to number 7 weeks, which is the Feast of Weeks, right? Which is the Pentecost, which is the next high holy day when we come back down to Jerusalem. Read on.
Verse 11, and thou shalt rejoice before the Most High thy power, thou and thy son, and thy daughter, and thy manservant, and thy maidservant, and the Levite that is within thy gates, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow, thy power hath chosen to place his name there.
Right.
And thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in Egypt, and thou shalt observe and do these statutes.
Right. So what that tabernacles is to remember the journey of coming out of our land. So we're coming up on that tabernacle again. And we're going to dwell in booths in the park, right? How many people got their booths already rented, set up? I see 3 hands. We got to get it together. Get your booth. Come on out. You won't know. Come out of your houses. Come out of your AC. You right? Dwell in booths. You're Hebrew Israelites born. All right? You can do it. All right? So it's just 1 week. All right? You know, we keep talking about the destruction of America. Are you ready for it? Because you seem real comfortable. All right? So come out for a week. It's a beautiful event. Don't miss it. All right? We'll be at Quiet Waters Park. It's Quiet Waters Park in Deerfield. For the whole week, we'll be out there. There's many booths. There's 26 tents out there. So rent a tent. You know, you don't have to put it up yourself. You can rent it. It's already put up. All right. All I say is bring the goodly bows and tie up on top and dress it out for the festivities, tabernacle, right? And come dwell all week. We're all gonna be in there. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
But you gotta get prepared. You gotta get it done, huh? 13th to the 18th. Right. The 13th to the 18th. All right. The 13th to the 18th of October. The 13th to the 18th of October. Make sure you got your tent set aside. The 13th to the 18th of October. All right, read.
Verse 13. Thou shalt observe the Feast of Tabernacles 7 days. After that, thou hast gathered in thy corn and thy wine, and thou shalt rejoice in thy feast.
Right.
Thou and thy son and thy daughter, and thy manservant and thy maidservant, and the Levite, the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow that are within thy gates. 7 days shalt thou keep a solemn feast unto the Most High thy power, in the place which the Most High shall choose, because the Most High thy power shall bless thee in all thine increase, and in all the works of thine hands. Therefore thou shalt surely rejoice. 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Most High thy power.
Come on.
In the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, and in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of the tabernacles, and they shall not appear before the Most High empty.
Right. So you gotta bring offerings on all these 3 feasts. So we always come together, see what everybody's bringing, and make sure we work together to make it a glorious feast. Correct? So the same thing goes for the tabernacle. Get prepared. Start thinking about what you want to bring out there. So when we come together, everybody's coming to bring forth, you know, their donation. You know what I mean? They're part of the feast. Don't just bring stuff to cover your tent, but bring stuff for your brothers and your sisters. Everybody understand that? Read.
Verse 17. Every man shall blessing of the Most High thy power, which he hath given thee.
Right, that ends the portion for the Shabbat day to the Most High hand. Hallelujah. A lot of information in that portion. Portion a lot of information. All right, so it's an all portion, but all praises to the Most High for giving us that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. All right, at this point, we're going to set up prayers and praise. You know, give the Most High the praise that He's worthy. Then we're gonna hit the streets. All praise be to the Most High. Any? I want to add anything? It can be said, communicated. All right. It's time. All right. With that, I will say, I'm Adin Upanya Rush, stand and face Jerusalem for the closing prayer. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Who's the power?
Yahweh's the power.
Who's the power?
Yahweh's the power.
Hashem.
Yahushua.
Hashem.
Yahushua.
Kudas.
Kudas, kudas. Kudas.
Holy.
Holy, holy, holy.
Is the name.
Is the name.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Holy.
Holy, holy.
Is the name.
Is the name.
Mashiach.
Mashiach.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Jacob was mercy truly endured forever. We thank you, how for giving us the Shabbat day in peace. We thank you, how for returning our heritage onto us. We thank you, how for waking us up in these last days. We thank you, how for all the souls that are yet to hear this word, and let them hear the word by the mouths of thy prophets. Continue to be with that little sanctuary, United Zion. Continue to put a hedge around all, knowing only through a Mashiach Yahushua shall all things be made possible. Father, we shall Yahweh heal our sister Kitsa Parat, that she comes back to us whole. Also, Wa'itazah, that you return him to his full strength. Right? Papa Was, put a blessing on his body and his infirmities, that he's strengthened yet once again. Okay. Remember them as we send this prayer up, receive our supplication, let our prayers fill the courts of the Most High as a sweet Savior, as a frankincense and myrrh. Let it be brought to the Ancient of Days by the hands of our Adawan, Hamashiach Yahushua. And let the angels praise thy name continually as our prayers come up before us. All this we ask in the name of thy Son. My heaven, praise
Hallelujah.
Hashem Hamashiach Yahushua. For what it is, Amen.
Amen.
Give the Most High hand. Hallelujah. There's no power like Yahweh's doing wonders. Amen, 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 amen. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Amen, amen, amen. Hallelujah. There's no power like Yahweh. Breaking of the universe. Hallelujah.